Hello, my name is Peter Parfitt. Welcome to the New Brick Workshop. I've not been to a woodworking show or even a woodworking shop throughout all of the difficult times we're experiencing at the moment. And I've had a number of requests to say something about some of the new kit that's come out from Festool. So I contacted Festool recently and they very kindly lent me the TID 18 impact driver so that I can show it to you today. Now the one that I've been sent is the basic model, and all you get is the impact driver itself, no battery, no bits that fit in this little chuck at all. Inside the box you'll find a belt clip which you can fix on either side of the impact driver, instructions and guarantee card, and that's it. However, let me draw your attention to the sustainer itself. This is one of the new style sustainers. It has the normal carrying handle at the top, which incidentally now has a click and it holds it in place. But it's also got this handle at the front, so you can carry this like a suitcase. And again, this little handle can be pushed down so it doesn't flap around. And this new type of sustainer has been brought about as a collaboration between Tanos and Bot. So it can be integrated with a vehicle fitting system, so you can have lots of these inside your van and they will be safe and secure. I can't show you everything that would come with the other two versions, but there is a 3.1 Plus version which, apart from what I've shown you now, also has two 3.1 ampere hour 18 volt batteries, and also, I do have one of these, the Airstream charger. If you were to get the top of the range 4.1 Plus version, that would have the items you see here plus two 4.1 ampere hour batteries. Now obviously people who already own Festool kit can take one of the standard batteries, any of the standard batteries that are this shape, and they will fit. And I've even got one of the very old 15 volt batteries, which if I were to put it on here, would fit and it would work. Now if you have one of the Bluetooth batteries and of course the Bluetooth module in your extractor, then when you press the button, your extractor will start as you press the button on the drill. Let me explain what an impact driver is. Now a normal drill driver like this beautiful little CXS will have a forward and backward control, a torque control here, which when you're screwing screws in you can set that according to the size and diameter of your screws, and it's got a drilling position there, 2-speed and a variable control. And that's it. All that happens at this end is that this will rotate either forwards or backwards at different speeds and with a release clutch if you're screwing screws in. And you can add a chuck to this quite simply, like so, and use it like a normal drill. You go to the PDC 18, which I've had for donkey's years now, and it's got a number of extra functions. To start with, it's got 4 speeds for the machine, and it's got the normal torque control and a drilling position. But in addition to that, it's got a hammer action. So if you wanted to put raw plugs into masonry, you could put a masonry bit in here, and that hammer action would then allow you to drill through the masonry. So that's a different type of drill again. And now an impact driver operates in a completely different way. To start with, there is a universal, throughout the industry, 1/4 inch standard connector here. It's not Centratec. And into this bit holder here you can put whatever type of bit you want. It might be Torx, it might be Posi-Drive, whatever. Now impact drivers on the inside here have a flywheel. And that flywheel, as the trigger is pressed, will rotate, and it will also move forward and backwards with a sort of spring mechanism. As that is happening, so the bit that's in the holder will rotate and also be forced to and fro. And it's this impact action that is transferred from the flywheel through to the bit at the end here, which then allows screws and bolts to be pushed in really easily. Now, I said that no bit holder or bits come with any of the versions of the impact driver. I happen to have one. It's not a Festool one, and I've put in some ordinary little bits at the end of this. The Festool one's probably not dissimilar to this. It will have a magnetic function so that when this is in machine itself, your screw will be held, which makes it very easy then when you're working in an awkward place, no hands needed to hold the screw. Now, the impact driver has 4 speeds or modes of operation, and they're controlled by this button here. First of all, there's a T position, which is a special position. I'll come back to that in a minute. Next is the lowest speed, then after that the intermediate speed, and after that the top speed. And typically, as the speed increases, so the amount of force that can be exerted through the driver increases as well. Now, this T position is very special. This is designed for putting self-tapping screws through sheet material, sheet metal, and then into wood or whatever it is behind. I'm particularly keen on demonstrating this because it is a really important feature of this impact driver, and it's one which really sets it apart from many others in the class. Now, when you're choosing your bit holder and the bits that go in it, you must make sure that they're designed and guaranteed to work with an impact driver. Now, I've cheated many times in the past. In fact, right now, this bit is not an impact approved bit. And if you don't do that, then they tend to break, normally at the tip, or they wear very rapidly because there's quite a lot of force. In this particular case, up to 180 Newton meters of force, which is a huge amount of force. So make sure you get impact driver compatible parts for this end of the business. Now, before I start the demonstration of the use of the impact driver, let me just remind you that you do need to have ear protection, and it is absolutely essential you have eye protection as well when using an impact driver. The reason for the eye protection is simple. As I said earlier, it's possible that you'll get some damage. Some parts may come off, either the screw that you're screwing in or the tip of one of the bits that's in here. And they can fly off at speed, so you must have eye protection. Also, impact drivers are a little bit noisy, and it is very sensible to wear ear protection at all times. Now, I'm going to start with a very simple demonstration. I've got a PosiDrive size 2 here, and I'm going to select the lowest speed 1, and I've got some pretty ordinary little screws and a block of softwood. Now, that was a piece of softwood. Let's go to a piece of oak, which is a little bit harder. And it puts the screw in like that with no problem at all. Let me just mention the screws. The amount of force that can be applied, particularly on the higher speeds with a machine like this, can cause screws to snap, and they snap in the body. So if you find this happening regularly, then you need to improve the quality of your screws, or possibly reduce the speed of your machine so that you're not quite applying as much force. I've just put the PosiDrive number 3 in there, and I've got a slightly beefier screw here. I'm still on speed 1. And you will notice that the hammer action clicked in very early. I'll put this up to speed 3. And you can see now it's going into that material. I don't want it to come out the other side into my bench. Well, I suppose I'd better go through the routine that everybody seems to do when they're demonstrating an impact driver, which is put in some big screws. So I'll just start with this one here. This one's very straightforward. That's on speed 3. Out it comes. Now be warned, when you buy one of these and you've got all your mates around and say, look what I've just bought, it's the latest gadget. When you take the screw out, it can be quite warm. So be very careful. They get hot. And of course we can go to a larger size. Everybody does a larger size one. So here we go. That didn't come out the end. It's because it's not as long as this one. And if you're demonstrating this to a friend, don't hold your hand there. Because that wouldn't have hurt. Now, even with big screws like this, you need to have a little bit of a gentle action. So the progressive trigger here is very useful. And you should use that to help you all the time. Ooh, hot, 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 hot. Now I want now to demonstrate the T mode, and that's this mode here with the T. Now this is really important because it allows you to put a self-tapping screw through metal into wood behind. And I'm just going to demonstrate it now. I've got a piece of metal, piece of wood, and I'm going to now put this in. Now this function gives you a reasonable amount of speed to start with. Now this particular self-tapper has the drilling tip to it, so it's going to drill through my piece of metal. And once it gets through the metal, you'll then notice that the speed of the drill will reduce and it will go into impact mode. So let's try and demonstrate this now. Now, did you notice there the speed reduced and then it went into impact mode? This is actually, to me, quite interesting because I quite often need to fix perspex onto something behind it. Often it's wood. And I've had a practice go at this, and this works brilliantly. So I'm in T mode, I've got a self-tapper, and I'm going to go into this perspex. There we go. So as soon as it cut through, it went into impact mode, and there that is in there, and my perspex is in perfect condition. Well, I'll give you some advantages and disadvantages of what I've seen in this very short tour of the TID-18. First of all, the brushless motor is going to be very efficient. It means it's going to use less power. It means you can have a smaller battery. It means that it's not going to get as hot, and therefore the openings in the casing are smaller, and that helps the machine to last longer because no dirt and grime is going to get in there and mess up the works. So brushless motors are really, really good. It performs as well as any impact driver that I've ever used. Now for me, the controllability of this really make it. First of all, there are 3 speed settings. And on top of that, you've got the T mode. Now this T mode is really, really useful, as you've seen, for driving stuff through metal into wood, and in my demonstration, through perspex into wood, which is really good. So if you're a sign fitter, maybe you would like to have a look at this. Now the fact that this comes with one of the new sustainers is an absolute bonus because these new sustainers are really, really neat. Obviously a lot of work and design effort has gone into this, and I think that's pretty super. And I think a lot of people will be buying these empty in order to put tools in. Certainly if you're working from the back of a van and you want these things to be safe. Now I think it's a shame that Festool didn't include a bit holder and a selection, a small selection of bits suitable for an impact driver. I think that would have been a really nice idea. But I suppose you could argue that anybody migrating to this machine may already have all of that sort of thing, but there may be others who are buying one of these for the first time. I think it would be a nice idea. Now, my aim in this video was to introduce you to the TID 18. Now, don't take my word for it. Go and make up your own mind. There are plenty of the woodworking stores which are now open. You can go and visit them. There are plenty of other YouTube videos available, and there are plenty of things you can find on the Festool website. Make up your own mind, make up your own decision. But get one of these in your hand, play with it, and that will help you make up your mind. Many thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.